Hey, what's going on, guys? This is going to be the weekly live chat I've been trying to do every week. There is literally so much to talk about in the MMA world. You have the biggest news: Ciryl Gane versus Derrick Lewis at UFC 265 for the interim heavyweight belt, which is just insane to me. You have Sean O'Malley fighting a no-name at UFC 264. Um, we have endless topics to really talk about. All your guys' questions. Um, we'll get right into it. Ginge, thanks for joining me today. I knew you'd be here. Um, Thank you, man. 800 subscribers. That's just absolutely insane to me. Um, you know, I just can't believe it. 800. Next goal is 1,000. Honestly, my goal has been 1,000 ever since I hit 500. It's insane that I've already made it to 800. I can't, thank you guys enough. Um, what's going on, Perez? What's going on, Isa? What's going on, Atlanta? I appreciate all of you guys joining me. It's crazy how fast the channel is growing. I forgot to turn the latency down. It changes every time I do a stream, so it's going to be a little bit more behind, but it is what it is. I can't change it midstream, which is super annoying. Um, I'm hoping to hit 1,000 by August for sure. Thank you, Alana. We'll see. We'll see. Who knows? But let's talk about the Ciryl Gane versus Derrick Lewis news. I've done 2 videos on that topic already, but I knew this was going to be a massive topic of the live chat. I try to do these live chats because I try to do videos on the most important MMA news that's going on, but there's so much that falls between the cracks that I don't realize, or you know what I mean. And you guys want to know, so you guys ask me. But let's first talk about that huge news. Issa says I got Lewis by early finish or 5-round clinic. There's no way that Lewis puts on a 5-round clinic. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. I think Lewis has to get the finish. I think he can. He's shown that he can finish guys rounds 1 through 5. He can finish anybody at any point in time in the fight. I don't know. Come rounds 4 and 5, I'm not sure. Someone correct me. Has Derrick Lewis ever been to the 4th or 5th round of a fight? I don't think he has. I know he went to 3 rounds with Volkov and he put him out. But at fourth round or 5th round, I don't know if Lewis is even going to have the stamina to really. He's going to throw one punch in each round, and if he does not connect, he's screwed. Derrick Lewis is a guy, and I haven't had a chance to really talk about it too much. Okay, a 5-round clinic by Gane, that makes more sense. Derrick Lewis is a guy that, when it comes to picking MMA fights based on skill, technique, stuff like that, Derrick Lewis is a complete wild card. I mean, there is so many times where you want to count that guy out and say there's no way he wins that fight. But with his power in his hands, he has nuclear power in both his hands. You never know. And that's the same thing with Ciryl Gane. I think if Derrick Lewis is able to upset Ciryl Gane, which I believe Gane will probably be the favorite, for me, he's he's by far the superior fighter. The more skillful fighter. He's well-rounded. He's shown that he has good stamina. He's gone 5 rounds in his last 2 fights. He's able to outstrike multiple, great striking opponents. He's able to outstrike Volkov. Volkov was able to outstrike Lewis until he was KO'd. I know that's kind of, goes against each other, but you get my point. Able to outstrike Jairzinho Rozenstruik. He's shown that he has ability to take guys down and submit them. I think Gane can win this fight anywhere it goes. And I think he will win this fight anywhere he goes. But I have to say, there is a chance that Ciryl Gane gets brutally KO'd. Lewis just has that in the bank at all time. He could. We'll see. I always say when I try to give my early predictions that I reserve the right to change my mind. There is very little chance I change my mind as far as my Ciryl Gane prediction. But I understand that Derrick Lewis has that ungodly power. And I understand that there's a good percentage he could get that KO. And, if you look at it from the other side, he was able to get touched up by Volkov. Not very much, but he was, Volkov landed some flush shots on Ciryl Gane. If Derrick Lewis lands one of those shots, he may put him to sleep. What's going on? Keep out. Derrick Lewis has been the 4th round twice. Mark Hunt and Shamil. I can't even pronounce his last name. Okay, thank you. No boxing, no footwork, no wrestling, no jiu-jitsu, no Muay Thai, no grappling, just power. He has kicks too. He has great kicks. His kicks are deceivingly fast. Derrick Lewis has some very fast kicks, and you got to give him credit for that as well. Um, Derrick Lewis, I think I've said this on a live chat before. Obviously, this was far before I had a YouTube channel, but when Derrick Lewis debuted, I thought he was a very interesting fighter to watch in the heavyweight division, being as shallow as it is. And I told one of my buddies, I said, "You have to check out this guy, Derrick Lewis. I think he's going to be legit." It was like a couple. It was a couple fights later. It was just so big, so powerful. You could tell he was super aggressive. And I told my buddy to check it out. And the next fight after I was telling him he had to check him out was Matt Mitrione. And my buddy watched him, and of course, Matt Mitrione slept him, which a lot of people forget about that. Matt Mitrione slept Derrick Lewis. And to get into the other portion, the other dynamic of the fight, it's for an interim heavyweight title. Makes absolutely no sense, but I don't know that it really harms anyone. It delegitimizes, the heavyweight championship a little bit. But as far as any harm to Ciryl Gane or Derrick Lewis or Francis Ngannou, I don't know if there's any real harm to it. What's going on, Toro Brown? I hope you're doing well. Jen, just like Ngannou, when a fighter got that type of power, they're always a threat. Exactly. But yeah, as far as really harming anyone, Francis Ngannou is still going to get a big fight down the road, whether it's against Ciryl Gane or whether it is against Derrick Lewis. Either one of those fights will be big, and then also you have John Jones waiting in the wings. But it just kind of delegitimizes the heavyweight championship, and I hate that. As a guy whose love for the sport is kind of based on merit, it's annoying to me, and this fight could have been fine without an interim belt on the line. But the UFC doesn't like having pay-per-view headliners without a belt on the line. And that's just the facts. The interim championship means nothing. It's only a promotional tool. And, whether it sells more pay-per-views, I don't know. But, the UFC just likes to have that on the top of the card. They like to promote it for ticket sales. And they were desperate to have Derrick Lewis on this card because Derrick Lewis is from Houston. So they needed him to sell tickets. But it just really makes no sense. And then you add the factor, the part that really aggravates me above all else is if this fight, is a crazy fight or either guy suffers any significant damage, you have a situation where Ngannou might not fight till early 2022, which is unbelievably annoying. And then let's say Ciryl Gane wins, but he's hurt badly. You know what I mean? He needs off 6 months or something like that. Then you have a thing where basically you're probably going to strip the interim champion anyway, and then you're going to have Ngannou defend it against someone else like Stipe Miocic. And this leads me to the question, where the hell is Stipe Miocic fitting into all this? I have no idea. Let me check the chat a little bit. Am I the only one that thinks Ortega beats Holloway in the second fight? I believe so. I do not think that happens. Dustin P said he's going to finish McGregor, except this time more brutal. That'd be nice. And I know I come off as a Conor hater, but what it is if Conor wins, the sport merit just goes out the window. They're giving him a title shot, which he won't deserve. And next thing you know, they'll be putting him in a welterweight title fight. So I can't deal with that mess. The heavyweight division has not been legitimate for years, in my opinion. Yeah, the top guys are good, but the division is just trash. It's the worst division. Really wanted to see Lewis versus Gane. Interim title was just there to put as the main event. Yep, exactly. Lewis and Gane are the main event. Put Oliveira in the main event versus Gaethje. I wouldn't mind that idea. But it's just, there's no need for that interim belt. It makes no sense. It just devalues the heavyweight championship. And I think what really aggravates me about it is there's no precedent set here. There's been guys, Cain Velasquez was sitting out for like a year and a half with no interim belt at some point in time. Stipe has only defended the belt once a year for the last fucking 5 years. Same with DC when he was able to win the belt. He sat out for a year until he fought him. So how are they only given, if Ngannou says he's not ready, I don't care what the reasons are. I don't care if he was on vacation. I don't care, I want, and that's the other issue I have with this fight that I'm going to get into that I didn't really, on these live chats talking to you guys, I'm able to get out, longer thoughts than I am in a typical video that's 10 or 15 minutes. Um, but another thing that another reason this kind of pisses me off is because the UFC is so desperate to throw together a main event. Is this going to be Ciryl Gane at his absolute best? Back-to-back training camps, from one fight to another in 4 or 5 weeks. Is that going to be Ciryl Gane at his best? You have the built-in excuse if Ciryl Gane loses, he's going to be like, well, I took it. It was kind of short notice. I wasn't 100% prepared. I still had some nagging injuries from my previous fight against Volkov. And he took damage in the Volkov fight. A lot of people just, look at the fact that he won the majority of the fight, but he took some shots. And you need a couple weeks off after that and then get back into training. So I think that, and it just, there it goes, delegitimizes that fight in general. And I love Derrick Lewis versus Ciryl Gane. I think it's a polar opposite type fight. You have Gane, who's super technical, well-rounded, young, been around, for only a little bit of period of time. Then you have Derrick Lewis, crazy power, not very technical, not the greatest gas tank, and he's been around for a long time. And it's just polar opposites. I can't wait to see the fight, but it just kind of ruined it for me, with the interim title fight. It just makes no sense for me. My thoughts exactly about Stipe. He's like a spare wheel at the moment. Yeah, Stipe Miocic, I don't know where he fits in. Maybe they try to make the John Jones fight. I could really foresee, and I want you guys to remember this if it eventually happens, I could really foresee a scenario where this interim champion, whether it be Gane or whether it be Derrick Lewis, is eventually somehow stripped, and then Ngannou defends against someone else. I could see a universe where that happens. I don't know if there's precedent for it. I feel like there was a time that happened, but I can't remember for sure. But, if next thing you know, the UFC needs a headliner for November, and Francis Ngannou says, I'm ready to go, and the new interim champion says, I can't go until next year, they're going to say, okay, we'll take that belt away, and we'll let Stipe fight, Ngannou. Or you're telling me if all of a sudden they come to terms with John Jones versus Francis Ngannou, they're not going to do it? They're going to do that for sure. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up on the chat. Conor should have fought Tony Ferguson. I would have loved that fight. Yes, you could have Yan versus Sterling. You could have Oliveira. It could be more stacked. I hope they do add more fights to it, but it seems like they're not. It's very short notice. Aljamain Sterling, I think, is out till November. But a lot of the fighters, current champions, don't have fights scheduled. Conor had 2 belts, featherweight and lightweight, but never defended. Exactly, and he was never stripped until the very last moment. It's kind of watering down the interim belt. Yeah, they've been doing that for years. It's just whenever it suits them, they'll throw an interim belt out there. I really thought Lewis had done enough after that KO over Blade. This doesn't feel fair to Lewis. Yeah, well, either way, he's still getting paid. He's getting a shot at the belt, even if it is a fake belt. I don't think Derrick Lewis genuinely cares, but I do think it is kind of messed up, from a merit standpoint. He has earned a title shot, and he should get a shot at the real championship. And apparently Ngannou was ready to go in September, so I don't know why the UFC didn't just wait. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, and if you're watching this live or you're watching this in the future on the replay, please do me a favor, like the live chat. It helps grow the channel. We just surpassed 800 subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you. Kevin Lee versus Sean Brady rescheduled for UFC 265. Well, there we go. We get a better fight for UFC 265. It sucks that we lost that at 264 along with the, Sean O'Malley's now fighting. I guess he's fighting a nobody. I don't even remember the guy's name at this point. You make interim titles when the champion isn't really available, but Francis fought like 3 or 4 months ago. Exactly. I've said this before, and I said it in my video about the topic. They should have some concrete rules. If you don't have a fight scheduled within, and I don't know if this is the rule I would necessarily be campaigning for, but this is just an example of what I mean. If you don't have a title fight scheduled within 6 months of your last fight, maybe then we do an interim title. But if you have it scheduled, then maybe not. They should come up with some concrete rules, because sometimes champions are allowed to sit out for 2 years. There's no interim belt. Sometimes guys are out for 2 months, and now there's an interim belt. Let's see. Rumor has it Dominic Cruz may be stepping against O'Malley. No, they've already named an opponent. Let me look it up for you real quick. I'll tell you who it is. It's some no name. But let's see. Sean O'Malley is fighting Chris Moitinho, some guy that's making his UFC debut. It's not, it's nothing crazy. It's nothing that gets me really excited. But it is what it is. Let me actually share this live chat link. And if you guys have any friends that enjoy MMA content, send them to my channel and tell them to subscribe to me. I'm trying to make my way to 1,000 subscribers. That's my goal. But I appreciate you guys. I'm going to tweet out this link real quick for the live chat. Join. Okay, I'm done that. I meant to do that right as we started, but I forgot. But I would love to see Dominic Cruz versus Sean O'Malley down the road, even if it's not at UFC 264. I hope by the end of the year they can make Jones versus Ngannou. Well, the way it's looking right now, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I mean, you have to do the interim champion versus the champ. But I think there's a way, if something happens and they come to terms, they may end up stripping that interim champion. Or there is a possibility that Ngannou defends his belt against somebody who is not the interim champion. Ferguson can beat Conor like now because Ferguson's boxing is good. It's a shame he didn't show it against Dariush. Yeah, Ferguson could beat Conor. Conor, I feel like with any Conor fight, Conor has to get the early finish. Otherwise, he's screwed. Especially against a guy with a gas tank like Tony Ferguson. Because Tony Ferguson probably has the best gas tank in the UFC. In my opinion, Francis isn't getting screwed. All it's going to do is help the pay-per-view sales with the champion versus champion. Yeah, I don't think I said it. I don't know if you were here earlier in the chat, but I said this doesn't really hurt anyone. It just delegitimizes the belt a little bit, and in my mind, it makes no sense. There's no reason to do it other than a promotional tool. So it's just a fake belt. So that's what kind of puts me off a little bit on it. You know what I mean? You don't just all of a sudden, okay, let's throw an AFC championship out there. This is week 17. We need better ratings. Let's throw It just kind of delegitimizes the sport. But it doesn't really hurt Francis at all. Either way, Francis is getting a big fight next, regardless of who he fights. But thanks for joining me. Make sure you're subscribed. Conor will beat Dustin. If he's really motivated, uses a karate stance, lets his hair grow, and jumps into a time machine to go back to 2016. Yeah, I don't know if Conor has to get that early finish. And I know this is like the most simplistic version of events that you can give. But if he doesn't get that round 1 or 2 finish, that gas tank starts to wane and that power starts to diminish. And, it's going to be very hard for him to get done. And I'm tired of the motivated Conor talk. The guy's in a cage with another human being who's trying to take his consciousness. If he's not motivated, that sounds like a personal problem. I just don't believe. I'm so sick of hearing that. Oh, we need the motivated Conor. We need, it's like motivated BJ Penn all over again. I'm sure some of you guys remember that. But yeah, he definitely needs to go back into a time machine in 2016. But Conor has won one. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything. He has won one fight since 2016. Since he beat Nate Diaz, which was a questionable decision. Thank you, Perez, for liking it. Anybody else who hasn't liked it, make sure to go like the stream. I think it's done this time around against Dustin. I'm assuming you say I think he gets it done. You forgetting UFC has a new contract with ESPN this year? They have to put so many fights a year. What does that have to do with anything? They could still do the fight without the belt. I don't know if that's what you're saying. It's a winnable fight for O'Malley, definitely. Looks like they're trying to keep O'Malley relevant. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of guys who volunteered to fight O'Malley, a lot of UFC guys. And they said, you know what? Let's bring in a newcomer. We don't want any of these other guys, derailing Sean O'Malley. It's very interesting. John Jones versus Ngannou is like Fury versus Joshua. I'm not super familiar. I know who they are, but I can't really give any really good thoughts on that. I don't watch boxing too much, honestly. I know that's crazy because I'm a huge combat sports fan, but I don't. Imagine if Yan stepped up. Who would Yan fight though? Let me know that because Aljamain Sterling is apparently out till November. Conor only been tired against Diaz, who has a high pace. It's a small sample size to judge his cardio, to be fair. He's shown fatigue in a lot of fights. He's shown fatigue in the Chad Mendes fight a little bit. Not that was crazy. That's not a great example. He showed fatigue in both Diaz fights. Whenever I like to use the Anthony Pettis analogy when it comes to Conor. Whenever Conor meets some resistance, his chances of winning, it just seems like unless he goes in and bulldozes a guy, when he meets some resistance, it's like he ain't got that heart in him. You know what I mean? I don't know how to put it any other way than that. When did he go 5 rounds against anyone? Who are you talking about? I'm behind here. Diaz versus Conor 2. How did you score it? I thought Diaz won. I don't remember which rounds were which, but I thought it was clear for Diaz. I didn't think it was an outright robbery, but I thought it was pretty clear that Diaz won. And also, I think it was ridiculous that Conor got finished in their original fight. And then regardless of how you scored it, he barely squeaked by with a decision. And then he acts like he went in there and redeemed himself, I don't believe he redeemed himself in that second fight. And I think he owes Nate Diaz a third fight. And once he loses to Dustin again, I think he will be fighting Nate Diaz next probably. If Nate Diaz gives him the opportunity. But yeah, I was annoyed with that fight. Nate Diaz gives him the opportunity to earn the fight back. And it's just, the fight was super close. Instead of doing the trilogy, he just goes on to other things. I got my win. Let's forget about anything. And let me tell you this right now. If Conor beats Dustin in this trilogy, it doesn't matter how close the fight is. It can be razor thin. And if Conor gets the decision, somehow, some way, everything will be forgotten. Conor's a world beater again. It doesn't matter however the way the fight goes. Colby Usman. Are you asking me for my prediction, I'm assuming? I think Usman probably beats him more definitively the second time. I think Usman's just getting better and better. I think Usman is one of the greatest fighters in the UFC right now. I believe Colby and Usman have very similar skill sets. And I think this was my same analysis for the first fight. And I think Usman has the better striking. And I think striking has improved. I think Usman has the power advantage. I just don't see a way that Colby gets it done other than decision. And I just think Usman's going to come with a vengeance in the second fight. I could be wrong, though. Colby is a great fighter. A lot of people think I'm a Colby hater just because I'm not a big fan of his, WWE style. But I think Usman gets it done. Joey, once Conor wins next week, I'm coming for you. You have an agenda. I don't have any agenda. I picked Conor in the first or the second fight, in the January fight of this year. I did not think that Dustin would mix it up. I thought he'd be prideful. I thought he would just try to stand and bang, and he would get clipped and put away. But Dustin came into the fight. He knew it was a big payday, and he came in with a high fight IQ. Exactly. Diaz finished Conor. Conor barely survived till the end of the second fight. Exactly. And everything was forgotten. Imagine if, and I know it's a sport, it's different, it's a sport. Imagine if me and you, right? Me and you, Dante. Imagine we got into a fight twice, right? The first time I just destroy you, I make you cry, I make you tap out, whatever it is, in front of everyone, right? Then the following month, you challenge me to another fight, and the fight goes down the way Conor and Diaz went. Everyone's going to remember, you know what? I fucked you up in that first fight, and then the second fight was kind of even, but I fucked you up in that fight a good bit too. We both got our punches in. And it disgusted me how everything was just forgotten. Conor was just a world beater again. The first fight against Nate never happened. Conor needs to retire and do exhibitions. He's becoming what Brock Lesnar and The Rock was to WWE. Very, very true. Somebody commented, I don't know if you're in here or not, whoever it was, I can't remember who it was, that Conor, if he loses this, he'll end up going on the box YouTubers. And I think that's a legitimate path that he may take. I think he'll probably fight Nate Diaz. I think there's a chance he could fight Jorge Masvidal. But if he loses this third Dustin fight, I keep calling it the second fight. If he loses that fight, I don't know, you know what I mean? Because Conor is a guy that's always, once he's lost, he's just cried and begged for rematches and made excuses for the reasons he lost. He never wants to go back and rebuild himself, win a couple fights, and earn a rematch with said fighter. So if he loses 2 straight times to Dustin in 6 months, span of 6 months, then I don't know, what's he going to bag for a 4th fight if Dustin finishes him again? Pretend he's never heard of calf kicks in his life, even though Dustin calf kicked him in 2013 or 14. That jab is mean coming down the pipe. I'm assuming you're talking about Usman. Very, very true. Usman's jab is phenomenal. Does anyone know what kind of injury Max has? I'm not sure. I haven't heard of it. Come on. Why do Americans champ like that? Hey, man, I don't base any of my picks or any of my analysis based on fighters I like or dislike. I admit when I like a fighter, but I try to give unbiased analysis. Everyone has biases. And I admit when I don't like a guy. I admit when I love a guy. But I try to pick based on what I see. And I'm not going to say I think Colby wins just because he's American. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just in it for the sport. I like seeing the best fight the best. Usman's one of the best. Colby's one of the best. I'm excited to see how it goes, but that doesn't change the fact in my mind that I think Usman will win. That I think Usman is the better fighter. I know you're being sarcastic, but you get my point. I mean, a lot of channels, and this is also why I really started my own MMA channel. And I've talked about it on different live chats of what I don't like as a consumer of MMA on YouTube. There's a lot of guys who are so biased that they only pick guys that they like, and they let the love for a guy cloud their judgment, and they say, "Oh, this guy's going to win because I like him so much," and they in their mind they reason the guy winning just because they like them. And it's not something that I try to do. Maybe there's some part of it, unconsciously that I do. But for the most part, I try to pick, guys who I think will win based on what I perceive their skill sets to be. Beating Dustin merits a title shot, considering Chandler got one after a win against Hooker, who was coming off a loss. I mean, you can rationalize it any way you want. I don't believe one lightweight win in 4 or 5 years warrants a title shot. I don't care how he does it. But maybe here's an example. Maybe that's just my bias. I believe you can go with other guys who are more deserving. Let me see. UFC fans, like many other sports, have short memory spans. As long as people like Conor or Jones keep winning, all is forgiven. Exactly. Everything is forgiven. And for me, also, I'm a little bit light on Jon Jones just because I love watching him fight. He's such a great fighter, and just his skill set, his fight IQ. I'm not necessarily the biggest Jon Jones fan, but just I love to watch him perform in the octagon. So I'm not as hard on him as I should be, and I know that. Usman needs to quit running. I don't know if he's running. We'll see, man. We'll see what happens. I think inevitably they'll get the fight done. Colby's been notoriously hard to negotiate with. And, we'll see what happens. Do you think Yuri will get a shot at the light heavyweight strap before Rakic after his last performance, or maybe a number 1 contender fight? I think it's up in the air. I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance if Glover falls out or Jan Blachowicz falls out, they throw Yuri in there for an interim or a shot. If Glover falls out tomorrow, I think Yuri gets the shot, just based on his performances. But if not, I'm torn because I really want to see Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic. But at the same time, I hate to see them kill each other off. I would like to see those two fighting for a belt. So it's hard. Trevor Whitman and Richard Perez and Freddie Roach, best boxing coaches in MMA. Freddie Roach was there at Tony Ferguson's corner. Yeah, I think Tony has good striking. It's very unorthodox. And as he's trying out new things, I think that's key for any MMA fighter. Dana says it's not a job, it's an opportunity to get the money fighters. Yeah, these guys have a very short span to earn a lot of cash. And, their career longevity, you never know how long they're going to last. So it's important for them, to get as much money as fast as possible. I'm always partial to the fighters. I don't see how you can ever take $1 billion corporation side over, just your average guy, even if he is making hundreds of thousands to fight. Let's see. Usman already broke his jaw. Exactly. Gilbert Burns did more damage to Usman in their fight than Colby did in 5 rounds. So it is what it is. It was a close fight. I'd love to see it happen again. I would have liked to see him win like 2 fights. First off, I just feel like he beats Tyron Woodley, a washed-up Tyron Woodley. It is what it is. People forget Colby won a round against Usman with a broken jaw. Yeah, Colby put on a great performance. I love that fight. For me personally, I like to see guys, once they lose a fight, to go back and earn their way back, instead of, they fight one guy and they're like, I want another title shot. I'm not really super happy with that. It kind of drives me nuts. And a lot of guys do it. They just cry and say, I want a rematch. Colby has pillow punches. And I just don't see how he gets it done against Usman at all. I just don't see it happening. Colby is a guy who he has to beat you with pressure and volume. And it's very hard to do that against a guy like Usman. When Usman feels like he didn't win completely, he comes back and knocks you out. We got a Colby rider in the chat. I think Usman showed that in the Jorge Masvidal fight. I wasn't too happy with the Jorge Masvidal fight. I would have preferred some other matchups, but he did come out and he proved a point, So you got to respect him for that. I read this, but then I forgot to go off of it. Yusuf says, do you agree Chandler didn't deserve a title shot? I thought it was a tricky situation. So, there's some other guys I probably would have gave it to over Chandler, but I didn't think it was the most egregious thing, considering it was for a vacant belt. If Sean O'Malley loses to Mr. No Name, what do you think the UFC will do with him? I don't know. The UFC is trying so hard to protect him. They gave him a Luis Smoka. For a guy who talks a lot of shit like Sean O'Malley, Luis Smoka, and then now fighting No Name. Every bantamweight in the world raised their hand and said, I want to fight Sean O'Malley. I want to fight Sean O'Malley. And they ended up with, some guy who's literally never fought in the UFC, who I'm not even sure there's a picture of him online. The UFC wants Sean O'Malley. I'll tell you what's going on at UFC 264. I'm sure some of you guys realize this. The UFC on these bigger cards, and bigger cards, I mean Conor cards, huge fight cards, they try to build some of their young stars who they think is going to become a big star. And Sean O'Malley is one of those guys where they want to showcase him on the main card of a Conor pay-per-view where there'll be, a lot of eyes on it. They're hoping Sean O'Malley does something, crazy, as far as highlight-wise, just destroy the guy. And then all those people who are watching the Conor card, maybe they're like, oh, I want to see this guy fight some more. That's the plan there. And the UFC has done that on countless occasions. I honestly believe the reason Derrick Lewis is as popular as he is because he got that crazy KO over Volkov on the Khabib Conor card. So, there you go. John says, how are you liking the new season of Tough? I have not watched any episodes yet, unfortunately. I'll try to watch some of them soon, but I just haven't had time. There's so much going on. Who do you got in the McGregor trilogy if Conor gets smoked? Where does he go from here? I was just talking about it a little bit. I'm picking Poirier. If he does lose, I think he goes on to fight Nate Diaz. If Nate Diaz even gives him that fight. Because Nate Diaz is a funny dude. Even if it's a lot big payday, he might say, I'm not fighting that guy. That guy just got smoked twice. What do I want to fight him for? Ginge says, I want to see Merab fight O'Malley. He volunteered. Merab would wreck O'Malley. And I would have loved to see that fight. Too bad it didn't come to fruition. Money is why there is Dustin Conor 3. About the money, not championship for Dustin. Exactly. That's exactly why it's happening. There's nothing other to say than that, The reason the UFC did that fight is because they want to give it's not even because Conor versus Dustin is such a crazy big pay-per-view. Even though it is, let me explain myself a little bit. Conor versus anyone is a big pay-per-view. But the Conor redemption story is what really matters. They want Conor to be able to rematch and redeem himself against Dustin. And that's what really sells. It's not the fact that Dustin is there. It's the fact that Dustin stopped him in their last fight. And they want Conor to be able to sell that redemption story for a pay-per-view sales. And, I mean, it's a storyline that's worked time and time again. It's Anderson Silva redemption against Chris Weidman. Obviously, he didn't get it. There's just so many times they've done that time and time again. So it's not really the fact that Conor and Dustin sells, because I think Conor versus Nate sells more. I think Conor versus Jorge sells more. They gave him Dustin because I think it was the most winnable fight probably they thought for him. They thought Dustin stops him. And so now Conor has to go and redeem himself. And that's the big selling factor in this UFC 264 main event. O'Malley won't accept the fight against the grappler. He's not dumb. Yeah, very true. Doing first video on Sean Kiss versus Chris right now, but tuning in to hear you out, dude. What are you saying? You're doing your first video on your YouTube channel? Is that what you're saying? Good luck if so, man. The hardest part is starting. Perez says, tough is boring. You're not missing much. Yeah, I haven't really watched in years. It's hard for me to get back into it, It's got so stale, and it's hard for me to watch. But it is what it is. O'Malley actually has pretty decent jiu-jitsu and is fairly good anti-wrestling. I think it would be interesting to watch. Yeah, I would love to watch the fight. I just have a feeling that Merab would be able to get him down. Sean O'Malley is, some people are sold on his skill set. For me, he's relatively unproven. Disappointed there hasn't been any drunken scenes in the new Tough as of yet. Yeah, imagine, what's his name? Let me bang, bro. Let me bang, bro. One of those types of scenes on there. Blaze One Sports, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like the stream. Everybody in here, go like the stream right now. I'm talking to you. And if you're not subscribed, if anybody in here isn't subscribed, go subscribe to my channel, please. Appreciate it. I'm slowly creeping my way to that 1,000 subscriber mark. Yeah, good luck, Super Saiyan MMA. The hardest part is starting. You never know until you put it out there. I never thought, I would start a channel and I have many people tuning in to listen to me talk live chat, which was always a kind of a dream of mine that I would love to do, just talk MMA with other MMA fans. And, it's not crazy big yet, but it's there, and it's growing every single time. So you never know until you start. I appreciate all you guys who support me. I always tell you guys, when anybody comments anything like, oh, I love these videos or whatever, I'm like, thank you so much, because it really does mean a lot. To know me talking about MMA, and posting it on YouTube is making somebody else's day a little bit more interesting. That's a great feeling. So even if it's only one person, so I'd like to see O'Malley fight Jimmy Rivera. That'd be a great fight. I'd like that fight too. Jimmy Rivera is criminally underrated, but I also think he's a little bit more manageable for O'Malley. If Conor wins, they're going to give him a fight against Oliveira, without a doubt. Without a doubt, Conor is fighting for a belt if he's able to beat Dustin, unless he decides to go off and do something else. He is unproven, but that's not on him. He needs to face more than one top 10 grappler-based opponent to see what is really up. Yeah, but it is on him. It doesn't seem like he really wants those fights, but then again, who knows? Maybe he hasn't been able to. He fought Marlon Vera, and he got destroyed, in my opinion. A lot of people think I'm some crazy maniac for saying that. But he got destroyed by Marlon Vera. He kicked his leg. He flash KO'd him with elbows. And then O'Malley was stretchered out of the cage. Stretchered out of the cage. And a lot of people don't want to give Marlon Vera that win. And he earned it. And O'Malley came out and was such a poor sport. I think he lost a lot of fans with that. I'm mentally undefeated. I was getting ready to beat his ass. Dude, shut up. Take your loss like a man. I can't stand people that can't admit wrong, or accept defeat. It's really a bad look, and I don't think anybody likes it, but they have their cult following of people who will defend them. I liked number 8. Oh, okay. Thank you, Keep Out. I appreciate you. God, no. Imagine a world with Conor fighting for the lightweight belt again. We don't need that. Agree with you, man. Agree with you 100%. Let me throw a nightmare situation into your mind. Imagine a world with Conor winning the lightweight belt again. I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to live in that world at all. Thank you for my new subscriber. I appreciate you. Anybody else who's in here who's not subscribed, go subscribe right now for me. Can't believe Chael Sonnen has 1 million subs. That guy says nothing. He talks in circle and he's always wrong. He's comedically wrong. To the point where I'm wondering if he's doing it on purpose. Everything that comes out of his mouth is inaccurate. And he thinks he's so smart and he's not. It's annoying. What fight would be on Dana's NR1 list? I'm not sure what that means. So you're going to have to explain that. Why would Conor come back if not for another title? I don't know. Maybe he was planning on boxing Manny Pacquiao after the Dustin fight in January. So I don't know what he's liable to do. He's never defended the belt, so I don't trust anything he's going to do. Conor will easily beat Dustin, then Charles. I doubt it. My friend. But we'll see. I've been wrong before. I'm not some future teller. I like Chael, but he's walking contradiction if you listen to what he said. I hate Chael, and I don't have no problem. If you like Chael, that's awesome. I can't stand the guy. He says nothing but nonsense, and he always acts like he's the smartest person in the room, and it drives me nuts. O'Malley was badly beaten by Cheeto. It was hilarious. You could see O'Malley looking at the ref, praying for him to step in as he was getting mollywopped. Yeah, he got flash KO'd. And, people say, oh, it was a freak injury. Well, where's the injury at? He kicked his nerve. People train that all the time. Cejudo fought through it against one of the best in the world in Mighty Mouse Johnson. It happens in a fight. It's like saying, oh, if he wouldn't have connected to the chin and put him to sleep. It is what it is. Chael sucks. Talk about it a lot, but really never says anything. I swear Chael's hard up for money. He does 5-minute videos. He spams 20 of them a day. There's an intro, an outro, and an ad in the middle. So, we'll see. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Chael. I don't watch his videos, if at all possible. Occasionally, if one crosses my eyesight, I might click on it, but not very often. I don't remember. It's been months since I watched a Chael Sonnen video. He doesn't say anything important. The hardest thing about these live chats is getting a dry mouth the whole time. Charles taps Conor, in my opinion. I think Charles can outstrike him. I think Charles can tap him. My guess is, he clips Conor, puts him down, and then submits him. Or maybe Conor clips him, jumps into Charles's guard, and then gets submitted. We'll see. Apparently, O'Malley's foot was not damaged, and he still talked loads of trash. I'm sure how he thinks it helps him win a crowd. Yeah, it's a nerve behind the knee, apparently, that shuts off the foot. It's called drop foot. Let's see. You're right about Chael, 100%. LOL. Yes, Chael says nothing. Conor has about as much a chance of beating Oliveira as a pig has of flying. Yeah, what sucks about Conor, and I agree with you, I don't think Conor has a good chance of beating Charles, but Conor does have that KO power, and Charles Oliveira has been susceptible, a little bit chinny, just a little bit. And if Conor connects in that first round, he could put him out, and that's what sucks. I don't think he will. Matter of fact, if I give you my percentage, I think Charles Oliveira 75% to McGregor's 25%. But there's still that 25% chance. Jalen Turner versus Jaros Medic. I'm not sure, man. I got to think about that more. I haven't seen. I gotta look. I like to watch some of their past fights and really get them fresh in my mind before giving a pick for that one. So I can't give you one right now. Maybe slightly lean Jalen Turner, but it's hard. Excited to see more from both of them. Yeah, they're both interesting prospects on the way up. We'll see what happens. Chael sucks so hard on Conor, it's cringy. I know, he can't get his dick out of his mouth. Come on now. Only casuals would think Conor deserves the title with a win over Dustin. Yeah, it's disgusting. I don't think he deserves it at all. Who has the best chin? Top 5 best chins. For me, it's so hard to do this because there's guys that have never been hit. So it's really hard, but if I had to give you, Let me give you an answer. Max Holloway has a great chin. Volkanovski has a great chin. Look at the beating Max took at the hands of Dustin Poirier and was able to just kind of absorb him. He took damage, but he was able to absorb those strikes, and it wasn't anything that was ever really close to putting him out. He absorbed strikes from Aldo, so Max Holloway has one of the greatest chins. Usman has a pretty good chin, but he hasn't absorbed a lot of strikes. If you're really thinking about guys, Robbie Lawler has a decent chin. I know he got put out by Tyron Woodley, but back in the day, eating shots from Carlos Condit, eating shots from Johnny Hendricks when he was on PEDs. Bit random, but who do you think Kevin Holland's next matchup is? Kevin Holland's next matchup. Whew. Let me find you one for that one right now. Who should Kevin Holland fight next? Maybe. I don't know if he deserves that, really. Kevin Holland. Who should he fight? I don't know, man. I really don't know. A lot of guys are ranked above him. He's very. And again, I just use the rankings as reference. I wouldn't mind seeing him against Jarrett Cannonier. I think that'd be a fun fight. Or Uriah Hall fight. We could see. I think Kevin Holland versus Uriah Hall is probably a good fight to make. Mike Perry has a granite chin. You could also do Kevin Holland versus Darren Till. That'd be fun. Hopefully someone who hasn't heard the words wrestle, because Holland can't wrestle for his life. I know he needs more than a few months to learn good takedown defense. I know his takedown defense is god-awful. Luke Rockhold has a great chin. If by great chin you mean, easily put to sleep. I see Jessica Eyes on the early preliminary card. Your thoughts, your opinion of women's MMA? Women's MMA, and it's not because they're women, so nobody say this. It has some leaps and bounds to catch up to the depth of the men's MMA divisions. There is some women that are amazing fighters, elite fighters, but as far as the diversity and the depth of the women's divisions, they're not as strong because they need more time to grow. I mean, women's MMA has changed so much just in the last 5 years. I don't really care about Jessica Eye fighting. 125 has no contenders. 135 is becoming barren, but I don't know if that's because of the dominance of Amanda Nunes. 145-pound women's doesn't exist. And women's strawweight is my favorite division with Rose, Carla, Weili Zhang, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I love the women's strawweight division. And Rose versus Weili is a fight that I was really, really looking forward to. It was an amazing performance by Rose Namajunas. I love the women's strawweight. But I do believe, I don't think it's the women's fault. I think it's just been around for less time. More women need to get into MMA to really have the solid depth and base that the men's MMA divisions have. It's growing. It's made leaps and bounds, since 2014 when the UFC brought it in. But it'll continue to grow over the years, and 10 years from now, it'll be a whole different animal. Gaethje versus Charles, who wins? I think Gaethje has the best chance of beating Charles Oliveira in the division. I would go Charles Oliveira early prediction for you. I think Charles will be able to get him down. And if Charles gets Gaethje down once, it is over. Gaethje has no jiu-jitsu. Holloway has the best chin, never been dropped, 10 years in the UFC. Okay, there you go. So I'm sold. I think Gaethje may be the hardest matchup for Oliveira. I didn't even read that, and I just said the same thing. I hadn't read that yet. I'm trying to catch up on all the chats. Women's MMA, come on, man. I don't think it sucks. Again, it doesn't have the depth that the men's divisions have yet, but eventually it would. Holland should fight Hamzat next. No way. Nobody wants to see that. Mike Perry has a chin, but that nose, though. But what that nose do? Yeah, he has no nose for sure. Fair opinion. Holland has been training at AKA. Should wait another year to get better takedown defense. Yeah, if Holland can get some takedown defense, he can make some, strides in the middleweight division. I saw Ryan Hall's on the early prelims. I know Ryan Hall has a cult-like following too, and this guy is on the early prelims. I wish he was on the pay-per-view main card, to be honest. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight. Misha Tate looking great. Can't wait. When does she fight? I know she fights soon, but I don't remember when. I'd like Wonderboy and Hamzat, probably the best striker in the division. Yeah, I'd love that fight. I don't think it makes a lot of sense as far as rankings wise, but with Hamzat's hype and style and talk, I wanted to see him thrown in the deep end. Dude, men been punching each other in the face since the Stone Age. In 2,000 years, the women could have caught up. Did you hear about Joe Schilling bar fight? Yeah, I did see he knocked some guy out. Apparently, I did see that. That was brutal. It was all on video. I don't. Is he going to get in trouble for that? Apparently, the guy was doing something. I don't remember exactly what it is. We'll see what happens. But I haven't seen any more news other than the initial video came out. Guys, do me a favor. I always like to ask this every single live chat, and I know some of you guys are probably getting tired of answering me, but put in the chat, where are you currently watching this live chat from? I'm always curious where the people in the live chat are watching from. It's always amazing to me that we're from all different places, all over the world, all over the country, just all talking about MMA and enjoying MMA. So I always love to see it in the live chat where you guys are from. So do me a favor, put that in the live chat. Dudes filing charges for battery. I would too. Depending on the situation, but we'll see what happens if he ends up getting a settlement or something. Dude, Michael Bisping got punched in the face by a guy in New Orleans. I did hear something about that. Just got here. Did you talk Sean O'Malley yet? Yes. We did talk Sean O'Malley. Basically, my thoughts were, it's funny how the UFC volunteered there was a bunch of UFC 135ers volunteering to fight Sean O'Malley, and they found a no-name outside of the UFC to come fight Sean O'Malley. And the fact they want to give Sean O'Malley a showcase on a Conor card, and that's why they did that. They don't want Sean O'Malley to lose. They need him to win. They need him to win spectacularly. They went from Luis Smoka to now some guy named Chris, who's not even in the UFC. If Sean O'Malley loses, it's going to be an absolute death sentence for his UFC career. Thanks for joining me, Spencer the Guy. Don't forget to like the stream as well. Jacobs, that's not a surprise, from Houston. Perez from Canada. Spencer from Sacramento, California. Kevin from Florida. Zick Pranks, Los Angeles. Dante from Wakanda. The Hague, Netherlands. From John from New Hampshire. Dante Zero, Zurich, Switzerland. Schilling could have given that guy a backhander and had the same result. Very true. I'm always leery, whether it's just me as a person or especially if I was an MMA fighter, to punch someone if they don't physically put their hands on you first. Because no matter what they're saying, and people can be saying some vile shit. But one punch, and next thing you know, a guy's got a swollen brain or something, and he dies. And then you're in jail for manslaughter for 20 years or 15 years. So for me, it's whether you're an MMA fighter or just your average Joe, unless someone tries to put hands on you or you think they're going to put hands on you first, then there's no point in doing that, because there's been too many cases where one guy punches the guy in the bar, next thing you know, he falls over and dies. And then you end up in jail for 15, 20 years. I've heard it too many news stories, too many times. And it sucks. And it's usually over something stupid. There was no need to do that, regardless of what was going on. He should have just backhanded him. Michael Bisping got punched in the face and laughed it off. That's what I've been hearing. Do we know why the guy punched Michael Bisping in the face? I haven't heard the story yet. And I'm always nervous when I do these live chats that some news is going to break while I'm on the live chat. So I got to go check real quick. But I'm assuming you guys would tell me you guys are keeping an eye out. But I'm going to go check online and make sure none of the news has broke yet. Nothing crazy. Apparently, Ricky Simone said, he wanted to make he couldn't make 135. That's why that fight didn't happen. Nothing, doesn't seem like anything broke. Yeah, I didn't even try to pronounce your name. Can you type it in the chat where I can where I can try to sound it out. Toro Brown, watching from the United States. Thank you, my friend. Uh, but yeah, I couldn't even pronounce that. Stinge of, I don't know. He didn't want Bisping record. One of the guys tries to snatch the purse of his wife. Okay, we'll see. We'll see if more details come out. If I'm an MMA fighter, I'm not attacking anyone because next thing you know, they're suing you trying to get a check or, you know, Jay Blunt's watching from Washington State. I knew, you know what's funny? I always think when I see how many people are in the chat, I always wonder, there's people who watch this, but they never type anything in the chat. I mean, me personally as a YouTuber, whenever I watch live chats of anyone, I don't ever type anything in the chat. So I appreciate all you guys who do type in the chat, but I know there's someone listening right now that's been listening probably for the majority of this live chat who hasn't said one thing in the chat. Go put something in the chat right now so I can see a new name. But are you saying somebody tried to snatch the guy's purse and he thought it was Bisping and punched him, or what are you saying there? You got to clarify for me. But I appreciate all you guys. If you haven't already, I know I've said this a couple times, but I got to keep saying it. And if you're watching this on the replay, I appreciate you too. Go like the live stream. I'm creeping to 1,000 subscribers. If you have any friends that watch MMA, send them the link to my channel and tell them to go subscribe. I would appreciate it. You pronounce the IJ like I from iron. I can't do it, man. I'm terrible with pronunciation. Stinge. That's all I can say. GP Paulo, a new name. Asking me to say happy birthday to someone. People apparently like doing that. But you haven't said to who. Andrew McLean. See, he was one of those guys lingering, listening. That wasn't saying anything in the chat. I appreciate you. I appreciate all you. Keep Out says he's from Moscow. That's awesome. That's really awesome. I told you guys I'm going to try to do these weekly live chats because sometimes, no matter how many videos I do, there's so much MMA news. You know, some of that stuff slips through the cracks, so you guys can ask on here. We can talk about it more long form, you know, for an hour, hour and a half, and it's really fun doing it. But what was I going to say? But I'm going to try to do it every Wednesday, but I don't know if that's always going to happen. I try to schedule it in advance. With this Ciryl Gane, Derrick Lewis news, I just knew that was going to be the majority of the chat. Sean O'Malley. Zick Prank says, have you checked out Jesse on Fire? People have told me about this guy. I have seen some of his videos, okay? And I'm not hating on the guy at all. You know, I'm sure he does a great job, and I'm sure he has plenty of fans, you know, that love his content. For me personally, it's not for me. For me, I cover the drama of MMA, but I more or less like to talk about analyzing the fights and, you know, looking at it from a skill standpoint. He's more into the drama of MMA, and then he also speculates a lot and kind of makes up stories about potential ways stuff has gone down. I've only seen a couple videos, so I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but it's just what I perceived. So it's hard for me to really give a wholehearted opinion on him. But I think he's a relatively newer channel, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Thoughts on Luis Pena? Yeah, what happened with him? I got to look this up. Because I forgot what happened with Luis Pena. Let's see. But I can't even. Someone's got to fill me in. What happened with Luis Pena? I know he was arrested. Joey, what do you think of sucking at 145? I'm not even sure who you're talking about, honestly. See, there's so much going on. Maybe I'm forgetting someone, but I don't even recognize the name right now. And maybe I'll remember the second you give me their full name. Joey, every time Jessica Eyes fights, I always pick her opponent. She doesn't give me confidence to pick her. Zick Prank says, so true. Yeah, see, I like covering some of the drama MMA, but that's all his channel's focused on from what I've seen. Good one. I knew that had to be something. I had no idea what that. I didn't recognize that name. He's in jail. What did he do? He beat up his girlfriend. Well, I'm sure. Did the UFC cut him yet? Let me know that. Did the UFC cut him yet? Pena was arrested for robbery and assault. Seriously, Joey had to. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Next time when I ban you from the chat, we're not going to be laughing so much. But Lewis was accused, but there ain't no evidence. I guess we'll find out. I mean, has there been a trial yet? Also, this has nothing to do with him getting arrested, but I wasn't high on him ever. I don't know why the UFC was always hyping him up. And if he beat up his girlfriend, the UFC, I'm sure, will cut him. They have no attachment to Luis Pena. He does not sell any tickets. He does not sell any pay-per-views. So the UFC has no attachment. Now, if Conor did the same thing, they would have, we're going to wait for due process. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. He's not cut yet. Okay. So I guess they're waiting to kind of see the information that comes out. He got released and said on Twitter the truth will come out. See, that's why I love doing these live chats. You guys fill me in on stuff that I missed throughout the week. Because it's hard. It's hard to follow every MMA news story, every MMA topic. It really is. I do my best to cover all the important ones. But it's hard sometimes. So I appreciate you guys filling me in on these live chats. And I'm just happy you guys enjoy these live chats. I never was sure, if you guys would like to tune into these, but you guys seem to like them, so I'll keep going. Or if your name is John, very true, he gets away with everything. Only reason he is hyped up is his nickname. Yeah. And I don't even think it's all that cool of a nickname. Come on, guys. Did he really do it? Because people like to make out a shooting. Who knows, man? We'll find out soon enough. None of us know. None of us were there. I'm sure the court will find out whether or not it went down or not. And I'm sure he'll get charged and get in trouble. How excited are you guys? I'm going to change the topic here. We don't need to talk about Luis Pena anymore. Nobody cares about him. How excited are you guys for Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson? Because I am just hyped for that fight. Let me know your guys' picks in the chat. I would appreciate it. I want to know who you guys are picking. Because I'm still on the fence about who is going to win that fight. I got to do my predictions video soon. I'm probably going to start working on tomorrow or Friday. Maybe release on Sunday or Monday. But that is an amazing fight. And if that falls out, I'm going to cry. I just think that's a fight that, I really am looking forward to. The welterweight division, I've been crying about it for a while. Nobody's fighting each other. And none of the top 5 guys are fighting each other. And finally, we get 2 top welterweight guys fighting each other. If Wonderboy wins, I think that's got to earn him a title shot. But we'll see. I think so Dante has Burns. Jacob says, I think Wonderboy wins and gets a title shot. I don't know if that's true. I think he could win impressively. And the UFC may still not give him a title shot. I've talked about it before. He's an older guy. He disappointed them in both Tyron Woodley fights. They weren't relatively action-packed. And I think the UFC would do everything in their power not to give Wonderboy a title shot. I think they would actually, actively try to avoid it. Let's see. Ginge is picking Gilbert. Yusuf picking Wonderboy. I knew Yusuf was picking Wonderboy. Yusuf has the guys that he likes, and he doesn't want to hear anything to the contrary. So, we'll see. I'm not sure who I'm picking yet. I'm not sure. I've been leaning back and forth. Gilbert Burns has power, and Wonderboy has been susceptible. He doesn't get clipped with a lot of shots, but his chin gets touched sometimes. And if Burns touches him and puts him down, I think he can submit him. He can jump on top of him. He can submit him. He can TKO him. We'll see how it goes. But that is the fight. I'm probably looking forward to Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson more than I'm looking forward to Conor versus Dustin. We're only a couple days. I mean, not a couple days. We're only about, 9 days away. Thompson getting kind of old. He's about to become Wonder Dad. Yeah, I don't even know. Does he have kids yet? I know. Isn't he married to Chris Weidman's sister? I think he is. I'm not 100% sure. Let me see. Let's see. Non-MMA question. I love non-MMA questions. I love all questions. If you don't answer, it's cool. I've seen other streamers not MMA related be criticized for their microphone they use. Has this happened to you? No, this has not happened to me. But I think my audio quality is pretty good. Let me know if it's shit. I want to know. Is my audio quality pretty good? But I've already decided, and I think I've said this on earlier live chats, I think when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I think I'm going to buy, that like, it's like a $600 microphone that all the YouTubers use. I think it's called the SM7B. So when I hit 1,000 subscribers, you guys are going to have to start sending in donations so I can afford that microphone. It's like $600, and you got to buy a bunch of like attachments to use it. So all told, it's about $800 to buy between the mic stand, the interface you have to buy. It's really expensive. But as far as my audio quality, I have not heard any criticisms on it. I wish there was fights this weekend too. It always feels weird when there's not a UFC event, but it is what it is. If you were in charge, who would you give a title shot to? Edwards or Wonderboy if he beats Burns? Wonderboy. I say Wonderboy. I would give Wonderboy 70% to Leon versus 30%, something like that. Let's see. Who in the chat has been to Paris? Not me. Sounds good. Give your payment options. Yeah, I don't have any payment options yet. But supposedly, I think when you get 1,000, I mean, this isn't why I'm aiming for 1,000. 1,000's my milestone. When you get 1,000 subscribers, you can donate right in the chat with a super chat. I don't know how it all works. I haven't looked into it all that much, but we'll see how it goes. Eventually, I'm going to set up a bunch of stuff so you guys can support me if you want. Obviously, you don't have to. But I would love, if I could eventually, you guys have no idea. So I dedicate so much time to making these videos, doing these live chats. If I could make enough money where this is all I did, I would probably make 10 videos a day. Do, probably a live stream every day. I read that, Andrew, and I got creeped out for a second, by the way. That's why I paused. But if I could make enough money just where I could do YouTube and not have a regular job, which I don't know if that'll ever happen. I do this for fun. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy talking to you guys about MMA. You have no idea what this channel would become. I would cover every news topic. I would do live chats every day. I'd probably have 20 videos, but I'd keep the same consistency. I'd literally know. I would know every UFC fighter on the roster. I would try to do interviews with UFC fighters. I already watched UFC, Bellator, WSOF, aka PFL, Rise, and I watch everything already. So I would just really get deeper into it with the extra time that I could really focus on MMA. So you guys have no idea. I can't wait. I think one day, whether it's a year from now, 2 years from now, if I hit 10,000 subscribers, I literally think I might shed a tear because that would be insane to me. Just have 10,000 people that listen to my talk about MMA and be part of the MMA community. And I love that you guys are interacting with each other. But I don't want to have one of those. I've seen plenty of YouTube channels where it's nothing but toxicity in the chat where people are talking shit to each other. We can just have a fun, friendly conversation. Colby versus Leon for the next title shot. I've been saying that, man. I don't know if you've seen it in some of my videos. I've been saying do Colby versus Leon over this summer, and the winner fights Usman this winter. Yeah, I know you were joking, Andrew, but it creeped me out for a second. Toro Brown said, how old are you? Guys, put in the chat, how old do you think I am? You want to know my social security number too? But put in the chat, how old do you think I am? I'm curious. I'm curious. Torin Brown says, I hope you make it to 100,000 subs. I will do my best, man. I will try. I know a lot of channels, it seems like, especially when they get an actual following, it seems like they are, using nothing but clickbait. Because once they start to get revenue from views, all they want to do is make videos about certain fighters. I will never do that. I will cover the important topics. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. 12 years old, 32, 33, 26, 27, Any final guesses? Any final guesses? Get them in and I'll tell you what age I am right now. So if you want to guess, put it in the chat right now and I will give you my age in a second. But I'll tell you right now, I'm a little bit offended at the 33. Come on, man. Do I look 33? Okay, so it seems like everyone's guessed. We have 12 years old, 32 or 33, 26, 27, 32, 28, 28, 27, and 28. Damn, you guys are good. I am 28. Perez got it right. Dante got it right. Well, Dante said it twice. Torrin Brown actually thinks I'm 33 years old. That hurts, man. That hurts. I might have to boot you out the chat for that one. I hope I don't look 33, but that's close enough. 28 years old. You know what? Here, I told you guys how old I am. Put in the chat how old you are right now. I'm curious how old you guys are. Let me know. Put it in the chat right now. I'm genuinely curious. I'm assuming we're all between the ages of 20 and 40 probably. Everyone in here would be my guess, but we'll see. I'm curious who's the youngest person in here? Spencer the guy, was that your guess or was your guess for me or is that how old you are? So, Stinge says no. I don't know what that means. Torrin Brown says he's 26. Kevin from Sales says he's 28. Jacob Houston says he's 16. So he might be the youngest viewer in the chat. 39, 36, 24. So we're all around the same general age. My analytics actually show me that, so I kind of have a guess. Guy who name I cannot pronounce is 15. Are you kidding me? Are you really 15? Because if so, you're the youngest in the chat. Let me take a picture of this one. I got to remember this, how old everyone is. But yep, Perez looks like he's the oldest at 41. And who knows, Perez could be a girl. I don't even know. Cobra Commander says 47, obviously. Keep Out is over 50. So you're the oldest in the chat. Unless you're making that up just to be funny. We'll see. But I appreciate all you guys. I don't care if you're 70 years old. I don't care if you're 10 years old. If you guys watch my videos, you join the live chat, you interact in the comments. That helps me so much. You guys have no idea. When you guys comment on the videos, it helps YouTube. It tells you the more engagement you get on videos, the more they recommend your videos to other people, and then the more subscribers you get. I assumed you were a dude, but Perez could have been either one. So I'm assuming everybody in this chat better be watching every video. Art Garelli says 52 Las Vegas, Bishop Gorman High School, class of 87, the same year and year Lorenzo Fertitta graduated from. Danny got kicked out for kicking one of the nuns' doors. Okay. Can you give me your favorite pet's name as well and your mother's maiden name? I identify as what I pretend. Hee. Yeah. Herc Khabib was thinking of coming back. I think the MMA media is leeching onto something that's really not going on. He says he does miss it, but he's probably not going to return. I think if he does return, it's not going to be for a year or two. So I wouldn't get my hopes up. We'll see. When is my birthday? You want my social too, Yusuf? Somebody's going to steal my identity. I start putting that out in there. I won't tell you a day, but it's in January. So there you go. I don't know if it's safe to really be putting that stuff out there. Next thing you know, I'm going to get a credit card application warning from LifeLock. You want to know my YouTube password too? Guys, do me a favor if you haven't already. I know most of you have. Like the stream. I would greatly appreciate it if you haven't already. If you're watching this on the replay, make sure you go like it too. I'm gonna try since there's no fights this week. Maybe I'll do a live chat on Friday. Are you guys down for a live chat on Friday? I guess you didn't get it. All good. I just have a few minutes to check you out. And yes, I'm close with Dana. Bishop Gorman High School, House of 87. Oh, what? Oh, you're saying. I'm trying to understand. So you're saying you still know him? I think you commented on a video before. But hey, man, I appreciate it. Tell Dana come check out the channel. Tell Dana White to give me an interview. I'd appreciate it. Dana looks like he bathes in roids. It's crazy. Yeah, Dana's getting jacked. I think it has to be the right fight for Khabib to return. I don't know. I think his mom, he said his mom didn't want him fighting anymore. His mom has to give him her blessing. And Asa, I'm not going to talk about politics on this channel. We're here to talk about MMA. Where the hell is Justin G at? He hasn't fought since October 2020. I know. Yeah, Lorenzo owned the UFC for a while. Then they sold it to Endeavor. And now I think it's Ari. Ari is the CEO now, I believe. But yeah, I appreciate you joining, Art. I appreciate you joining the live chat. If you have any friends that like MMA, send them my channel. Tell them to go subscribe. I'm slowly creeping to 1,000 subscribers, my friend. But I have no idea where Justin Gaethje's at. I would love to see him fight soon. Yeah, yes, I did. It's good to see some solid stuff. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying the videos. Have you been watching all the content I've been putting out recently? I hope you have. But let's see. Who do we want Justin Gaethje to fight? We could get I want Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. End of story. Don't need to look anymore. I would love to see that fight. I mean, Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler would be absolute violence. I would love it. Khabib ain't coming back, especially after that tragedy. He just got stripped. Nah, he relinquished. I don't believe that he got stripped. He relinquished. He relinquished right after the Gaethje fight. The UFC held on to it forever, but he really relinquished. Heard they offered Justin G the RDA fight for UFC 264, but he declined it. That'd be a fun fight, too. I wonder why he declined it. He's been out forever. I want to see him back. I'm watching the local promotion this weekend where UFC fighter Hakeem Dawodu got his start. What's that promotion called? There's so many promotions now, it's crazy. There's so many promotions. Guys, do me a favor. Throw any last-minute questions in the chat. I'm getting ready to end the chat, so if you guys have any last questions, throw them in there. I'll be putting out more videos soon enough when some interesting MMA news breaks. So you guys can check me out there. I appreciate all you guys joining me for the chat, though. I really do. It's been fun. I'm going to typically try to do, a live chat for an hour, hour and a half every single week. I've told you this for the last couple of weeks, and I've been trying to stay to it. Because there's no MMA this week, maybe I'll do a live chat on Friday, just because there's nothing better to do. And I love talking about MMA with you guys. Cobra Commander says, I still believe Khabib will come back. I don't know. And I definitely don't think it'll be anytime soon. I saw on YouTube where Khabib talks about how Dana asked Ali behind his back, why didn't Khabib ask how much money I would offer for his return? More of the story, Khabib can't be tempted. Yeah, I think that Khabib does not care. I mean, he's already made millions of dollars. He's not a guy who's a crazy spender. It doesn't seem like I think he still lives with his mother. His family lives with his mother. So why would he care? If he has millions of dollars in the bank, it doesn't matter. Mike Chandler next fight. I want to see him against Justin Gaethje. I don't blame Justin Gaethje for declining that fight with RDA, honestly, because that fight does absolutely nothing for Justin. Makes no sense. And it's a tough stylistic matchup. But still, I think it would have been a fun fight. Take care. Be safe. Keep doing your thing. Thank you, Art. I'll be doing more live streams in the future. I hope to see you in the live chat. So, Poirier versus Diaz if he loses to McGregor. And I got Dustin. I would love to see Poirier versus Diaz. That was originally scheduled for, a couple years ago, and it didn't happen. But I got Dustin, too. I think Dustin beats him. Peace from the Middle East. Thank you, everybody who watched my live chat live. Thank you for anybody who's watching the replay. I appreciate every single one of you. It's been awesome. I might do another one Friday. There's nothing really going on, but we can talk about whatever you guys want. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will talk to you guys in the next video or the next live chat. Goodbye.